I didn't realize I was wasting the last good years of my life until I turned 87. Not because something dramatic happened, no accident, no diagnosis, no sudden tragedy, just a quiet Tuesday morning. I was sitting in my kitchen, the same one I had stood in for over 40 years, holding a cup of coffee that had gone cold in my hands. And it hit me. Not like a storm, more like a whisper I couldn't ignore anymore. If you keep living like this, you're going to run out of time before you ever feel at peace. I am 92 years old now. My name is Eleanor, and if you're over 60, I want to tell you about the 5 things I had to stop doing, not because someone told me to, but because life slowly, painfully showed me I had no other choice. I used to think getting older would feel like freedom. You spend your whole life working, raising children, paying bills, showing up for everyone else, and you imagine that one day it all slows down, and you finally get to rest. But nobody tells you what that rest actually feels like. The house gets quieter, the phone rings less, the calendar empties out, and suddenly you're left alone with something you've been avoiding your entire life, yourself. After my husband Richard passed away, 15 years ago now, the silence in the house felt unnatural, like something was missing that shouldn't be missing. I remember the first Sunday after the funeral. The sunlight came in through the window just like always. The clock ticked just like always. But the house didn't sound the same. And that's when the habits began. Not all at once, slowly, quietly. The kind of habits you don't notice because they feel normal. Habit 1. Waiting for others to make me feel alive. For a long time I lived my days waiting for my daughter to call, waiting for my grandson to visit, waiting for someone, anyone, to need me again. I would sit by the phone sometimes, not even realizing I was doing it, just listening, hoping. Because for most of my life I mattered to people. I was needed. Dinner had to be cooked, clothes had to be washed, problems had to be solved. But after 60, 70, especially after loss, that need begins to disappear, and I didn't know what to do without it. I thought something was wrong with me, that maybe I had become forgettable. But what I learned, much later than I should have, is this. Waiting for others to give your life meaning is one of the loneliest ways to live. Habit 2. Holding on to people who stopped showing up. This one is harder to admit because it involves people you love, family, old friends, people who were once everything to you. I had a friend, Margaret. We spoke every week for years, shared birthdays, holidays, even grief. But slowly, she stopped calling. At first I made excuses for her. She must be busy. She'll call next week. Weeks turned into months, and I kept holding on, not to her, but to who she used to be. I did the same with my own children, in a quiet way, not blaming them, never that, but expecting them to fill a space they simply couldn't anymore. And that expectation, it drained me, it hurt me, and worst of all, it kept me from seeing the people who were still there, neighbors, strangers, even myself. What I learned painfully is this: holding on to people who have already let go keeps your heart stuck in a place your life has already left behind. Habit 3. Believing my best years were over. This one nearly broke me. There was a time around 73 when I genuinely believed that everything meaningful in my life was already behind me. My marriage, raising my children, my career at the library. All of it felt like chapters that had already been written, and I was just existing in the leftover pages. I stopped trying new things, stopped going places, stopped even imagining that something beautiful could still happen. I told myself, this is just what old age is, quiet, small, empty. But I was wrong, not completely wrong. Life does get smaller, but smaller doesn't mean less meaningful. It took me years to understand that my life wasn't over. It was just changing shape. And the moment I stopped treating my present like it didn't matter was the moment something inside me began to come back to life. Habit 4. Ignoring my body until it forced me to listen. At 60, you think you still have time. At 70, you start noticing things. At 80, your body makes the decisions for you. I ignored my health for years, not dramatically, just quietly, skipping walks, eating whatever was easy, telling myself it doesn't matter anymore. Until one afternoon, I couldn't get up from my chair without help. That moment stayed with me, not because of the pain, but because of the realization. I had been slowly abandoning myself. After that, I started small, walking to the mailbox, stretching in the mornings, cooking real meals again. Nothing impressive, nothing you'd see in a magazine. But something shifted. I stopped treating my body like something that was fading and started treating it like something that was still carrying me. And that changed everything. Habit 5. Living in the past or fearing the future. This one is the quietest of all and the most dangerous because it feels like thinking, but it's really escaping. I spent years replaying memories, conversations, moments with my husband, things I wish I had said, things I wish I had done differently. And when I wasn't in the past, I was worrying about the future. What if I get sick? What if I fall? What if I become a burden? And somewhere between those two places, I stopped living in the only moment that actually existed, today. It wasn't until my late 80s that I truly understood something simple. The past is a place you visit. The future is a place you imagine. But peace only lives in the present. It didn't happen overnight. There was no grand moment, no sudden clarity, just small decisions, day after day. I stopped waiting for the phone to ring and started calling people myself. I stopped chasing old relationships and started appreciating the ones still within reach. I stopped mourning the life I had and started noticing the life I still had. Morning coffee became something I felt again. Sunlight through the window became something I noticed. Even silence became something I wasn't afraid of anymore, because it wasn't empty, it was peaceful. My world is small now, very small. I don't travel, I don't attend big gatherings. Most days are quiet, predictable, simple. But I want you to hear this clearly. I am not lonely. I am at peace. There is a difference. Loneliness feels like something is missing. Peace feels like nothing is. And it took me over 90 years to understand that. If you are over 60 and something in your life feels off, not broken, just unsettled, it may not be your circumstances, it may not be your family, it may not even be your age. It may be the habits you've been carrying for too long, the quiet ones, the invisible ones, the ones that slowly take your peace without you even noticing. I didn't stop them all at once, but once I started letting them go. Life didn't become bigger, it became clearer, softer, kinder, and finally, enough. If this story felt familiar, if it found you in a quiet room somewhere, holding your own cup of coffee, then maybe it's not too late for you either. Maybe this is your moment to stop, to let go, to choose peace. Stay with us here on the final chapters. And if this touched your heart, subscribe. We'll keep walking this road together.